Kevin Costner's 83% RT crime movie tried and brutally failed to be a gripping mob series. Brian De Palma's 1987 classic, The Untouchables, took the 1959 series of the same name, starring Robert Stack as the untouchable Elliot Ness, and made a taut crime drama with stunning performances by Kevin Costner as Elliot Ness, Robert De Niro as a commanding Al Capone, and, in an Academy Award-winning performance, Sean Connery as Jimmy Malone, a character created for the movie. The movie was a box office and a critical success, currently sitting at 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. It didn't stay untouchable for very long, with an attempt to reboot it as a syndicated television series, hoping to bank on the film's success. Starring Tom Amandes as Elliot Ness, the series launched in 1993 and ran for 2 seasons. But the fact that the series has largely been forgotten, eclipsed by both the 1987 film and the original series, speaks volumes. Unlike the movie, 1993's The Untouchables is critically savage, created by Christopher Crowe. 1993's The Untouchables series marries the concept of the classic series, the procedural-type format following the exploits of Ness and his squad of Untouchables, with the characters from the movie. Or, more accurately, character, with the biggest name in the cast, John Rhys Davis, Salah from Raiders of the Lost Ark, playing Officer Malone, Michael, though, not Jimmy. Week after week, Ness and his squad would continually be up against Capone, William Forsythe, the man behind whatever ailed the city that week, in their pursuit of bringing Capone to justice. In one episode, one of Ness' agents, Tony Pagano, John Hames Newton, calls on Ness to help him find his missing sister, forced into prostitution after being kidnapped by Capone's cronies. In another, Ness forms an alliance with the current numbers kingpin in Chicago's South Side to stop a certain someone, Capone, from expanding and taking over the racket. And in a 2-parter in its 2nd season, Ness travels to Cuba to stop the Cuban president from making a deal with, you guessed it, Capone. If it wasn't Ness' latest attempt to capture Capone on deck, the series had Capone facing his own trials, like an actress who stalks him and his family after he breaks things off with her. Critics ripped apart the premiere, with the Los Angeles Times suggesting it shouldn't be touched with a 10-foot pole. In their critique, the Times claims Amandes is trying to out-nice guy Costner's nice guy, but is a little more gracious with Forsythe's Al Capone, with Forsythe capturing the steely determination and unpredictable nature that De Niro brought to the film, albeit less successfully. The corniness of the pilot's plot, which delves into the younger years of both Capone and Ness, also comes under attack, especially a moment when their eyes lock in a darkened theater, a meet-cute, perhaps. That only comes to light if you read the review, since the title of the review pretty much gives it away. Untouchables is almost unwatchable. The Untouchables TV show finds an audience, but can't escape its destiny nevertheless. The Untouchables found an audience, heading into its 2nd season after its first placed it in the number 2 spot among new, first-run syndicated series, another instance of a case where there's a disconnect between critics and viewers. IMDb user reviews have given the series stellar reviews, while Variety cited the series' 2nd season as simply boring. The series came to an end after 2 seasons, 42 episodes in all, with Capone finally in custody. And that's the problem with 1993's The Untouchables. It clearly had a devoted fanbase, but ultimately painted itself into a corner where they built the entire series around Ness' pursuit of Capone, effectively stuffing the movie's plot to make it last as long as it could. They hadn't built a foundation on which to head into a 3rd season, and it would be hard to find someone that could bring to the series what Forsythe did as Capone. That was a problem that the 1959 series never had. The series took off from that point, with Ness having successfully put Capone into jail. So, instead of trying to extend a storyline with a definitive end, The Untouchables focused on Ness and his squad against the criminal element looking to fill the power vacuum left behind by Capone. It may have followed that procedural case of the week format, but it wasn't the same villain week after week, lending the series a variance that the 1993 series simply couldn't replicate by design. Of course, there could be another reason why The Untouchables 1993 wasn't a bigger success. The curious decision to try and ride the coattails of success from a movie that was released a full 6 years prior, limiting the exposure it could have had as a result. And if the rationale was to distance itself from the film to deter comparisons, it was a spectacularly bad idea, given how the film and its powerhouse performances still linger in the public consciousness to this day. The Untouchables 1993 was nevertheless a noble attempt at capturing the film's success, but that success may have been untouchable from the beginning.